And now, the thrilling continuation of the SML podcast.
Yeah, that's the one thing they taught us in public speaking is, it's just
recognize your tics and fix them.
And stop. Yeah. And it's easy when you have a prepared speech. It's a lot harder when you go off the cuff because now you're thinking about what to say and trying to stop yourself from actually doing any of your tics.
Yeah. That and I have a gigantic tongue.
Yeah, it makes up for your tiny little penis.
Very, very, very not true because Ashley is still sad. Oh, God. So what's up, everyone? This is Joe.
Oh, fuck. Try that again. I'm Pappy.
No, I'm leaving that. Too lazy to edit today.
Hey, we're in the middle of shooting this shit, and then you're like, hey, what's up? Like, oh, God damn it, my cue.
You should know that when we're somewhat bullshitting on a certain topic, that... whatever.
Yeah, I was actually really trying to finish reading a webcomic that I'd started when you dialed me in.
Do tell.
So no, I was reading questionable content and I was trying to finish it.
Finish shit? Like all the shit talking from last night?
Yeah, so today we will be doing a different kind of shit talking. We'll be spewing things from our mouths.
Episode 176 of the SML podcast, which is basically a continuation of last night because we need to do what we were supposed to do last episode, and now we're doing it on this episode. So
yeah, we're kind of accidentally doing what some people have asked us to do before, in that we split the interviews and the reviews into separate episodes. This is not something we're going to usually do. It just happened because of yesterday.
I didn't plan on having 3 episodes this week. So I don't want to, like, 2 episode weeks are big enough for me because that's a whole lot of extra work on my part. And this is an impromptu 3rd episode, which was completely unplanned.
Yeah, which thankfully I got my homework done ahead of time and could do this today.
Yeah, so for all the stuff you didn't do homework on, here's some news bits that we could talk about. The PlayStation VR has had its price announced. Have you heard this news?
$600.
No, $399.
That's actually cheaper than I expected. The Oculus is what?
I think $699. I think $699 for the Oculus.
So PlayStation VR undercutting Oculus.
It's $399. The big difference is that it is a single screen instead of a dual screen headset.
So no depth of field?
I don't know how it's going to work. It's probably going to be like Google Cardboard where there's just a split down the middle that blocks off the view between the eyes. I don't.
Well, it can't just be that makes it $300 cheaper.
Why?
Well, then again, okay. I can actually assume that Sony is selling it at a loss as well.
No, they're not. Surprisingly, they are not selling it at a loss. So that might be that might explain the cheaper price and the not as good components, but it's more budget conscious.
And then it turns out it was built to catch on fire after 90 days.
Quite possibly. Pre-orders go on sale on Tuesday, but it's not for the $399 package. The $399 package is basically the headset and the cords, and that's it. What's going on sale on Tuesday for pre-order is going to be $499. It includes the PlayStation camera, which is required, and it's not bundled in with the core package. It includes 2 Move controllers, which, while not required, will come in handy for, I would say, a majority of the games that come out for it. And then it also includes like some kind of bundled disc, like some kind of game that has just a showcase of what the VR does, and a demo disc. But so yeah, a lot of people.
Now that's getting your money's worth.
Yeah, a lot of people think that Sony wasn't very forthcoming in what they announced with the $399 price because it requires a camera and because it almost pseudo requires Move controllers. But if they want to be bitchy about things, it also requires a PS4.
Well, yeah. I kind of hope that the first VR game for the PlayStation 4 is curling.
Oh, God. I know they announced and revealed a whole bunch of different games. I haven't paid any attention to it. Just because I know that, like, I will not be able to afford a $500 VR headset. So
I mean, you've got 2 kidneys.
I just haven't seen a reason to get too invested in everything when I know it's something I won't have. At least for a long time.
I mean, let's also point out the potential that you get the defective one and have to do another rigmarole with an expensive piece of equipment.
Oh my God! Fuck
Sony.
That. I would be fucking furious if that shit happened again.
Yeah, so I think it's almost better that you can't get one right now.
Who knows? There's still a couple months till it comes. I think it's 5 months away, something like that. Maybe we'll be in good enough graces with Sony at that time that they send us a review set.
I think it's more likely that you suddenly get a job working from home.
Ouch. It's my birthday. You can't be that mean to me.
Happy birthday. I'm saying that you're probably not going to get a job working from home.
True. Very true. Speaking of Sony, some news came out about a company called Tequila Works. They reacquired their title RiME from Sony. So it was something that Sony had purchased the rights for, but RiME, Tequila Works rebought their property back.
Yeah, because I've never heard of it, so it sounds like Sony might have sat on it.
No, apparently the developers are the ones who have been kind of fucking up a bit. Here's a write-up I saw from a website. It says, some guy, I think NeoGaf, posted this. He said, first of all, I was told the reveal trailer was all cinematic. It was faked to mimic gameplay, assets, etc., but from a real game, but 0% of the game was implemented. Which is already... these words are a direct quote from my source about the news in the studio itself. He says, quote, Sony required about 1 month ago the dev kits to be returned and canceled the fundings into Tequila Works due to the game had no sense. Basically, there wasn't a game.
Oh, so It's not that Tequila Works went, fuck this, we're buying it back to do our own thing. Sony basically went, hey, you want to keep working on that game? You're going to have to buy the rights back and give us our shit. Yeah.
Apparently, the guy in the head of the studio thinks that he's the next Tim Schafer.
Oh.
But in truth, he was fired from a different company, and the people from that company speak badly about him.
Oh.
So... I don't know. It sounds like things are kind of a shit show over there, but fans of the studio are saying, oh, cool, maybe now we'll get this on Xbox. And I'm just wondering, A, if we'll get anything out of the game at all, and if it does come to Xbox, like, will it be any good?
Well, I will say that I'm on their Twitter feed, and it looks like they don't tweet very often, but there's no shit talking, so that's kind of good, right?
Yeah, they seemed positive about it, but when everything is kind of their fault, I don't think they would want to throw stones.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't tweet very often, and they did retweet Spanish for like 3 pages.
Yeah.
So I don't actually know what's going on here. They are hiring an FX artist if you'd like to work on RiME.
Yeah, it's kind of a shame that shit like that happens, but what are you going to do?
Yeah, and again, we don't know the game. We don't know the developer personally or even, know anyone who knows him personally. So it is what it is, and hopefully it's a good game, and hopefully if the guy is kind of a jerk, then this was maybe a little bit of a wake-up call for him.
Who knows? Maybe. It's just, it's interesting to see Sony, like, go in, pull all funding, demand their dev kits back, yet the company is saying that they went and pretty much they were the ones who bought back the rights to their project, and just interesting situation to say the least.
Well, I do like that the employees are called hell workers. That's pretty funny.
These nuts are funny. Little bit of Xbox news that we could get into. 3 more games have been added to the Xbox One compatibility list for the Xbox 360. The first one is Pac-Man, which, Oh God, shit just loaded up on my system because I said the X word. Another one is Alan Wake, which we knew was coming because it's a pre-order bonus for Quantum Break. But it's nice to see that it is available now and playable now.
Yeah, it's still awesome because maybe I can finally beat it.
Maybe. And then American Nightmare has been backward compatible, so you could have the 2 of them right there. And then the third new addition is Castlevania Symphony of the Night, which I am ridiculously excited for because that game is incredible.
Yeah, that actually sounds pretty cool. So they're listening. They're making a few more of their more popular games available slowly. Slowly but surely. There actually is a 4th one, but that one is only available for Xbox Preview members right now. But that is the amazing Halo Wars, which is pretty freaking cool.
I never played it. Oh, Kris is saying to be added, so I guess he changed his mind.
Yeah, he can eat and talk.
So glad we just discussed everything before the reviews.
Yeah, we got the news out of the way, so Kris won't have anything to talk about.
Pretty much.
But I love Kris. He's adorable.
Oh yeah, it's going to do the whole hang up on you and then recall you, so I'm not going to edit any of this shit out. Recalling everybody. Redialing the call. Who's there? Yay! I just sang the whole time redialing the call.
I was actually gargling the entire time just so that I would still be doing it when I answered.
Nice.
Hello.
Yay, there's Kris.
¿Cómo está?
Just in time for us to finish all the news.
Oh, what? Oh, you're doing news now?
Well, we did the news. We're not doing it anymore.
We can go back over it. We were discussing the place. Should I just restart the show at this point?
Fuck it. Let's do it live.
Is that a yes?
Yes. Let's just restart the show.
Okay. What's up, everyone? This is Joe.
I'm Kris.
And I am Pappy.
And this is take 2 of the second part of last night's episode. So I should just keep all of this.
That's pretty funny. Because I really don't want to explain this episode again. So if you already listened this far, feel free to skip ahead 15 minutes.
Yeah, pretty much.
If you want to hear Kris's stuff, feel free to just skip every 30 seconds until he's speaking.
Yeah, pretty much. So,
okay, sure.
There was some news that came out recently. Hey, Pappy, did you hear about this? The PlayStation VR got a price announced.
I did not. Tell me more. Honestly, I'm curious to hear what Kris has to say about it too. As someone
Kris, have you heard all the PSVR news?
I've heard some basic stuff. Just obviously you told me earlier what.
I didn't tell you anything. You're gonna play along with this, motherfucker.
Nope. Nope.
Well, the PlayStation.
It was technically
VR...
off air, so it doesn't matter.
True. Although we're keeping all of it.
Continue. Go ahead.
PlayStation VR headset was recently announced with the price of $399 coming out in October. The main reason for the price discrepancy between it and the Rift is that this is going to be a single screen VR unit.
So do you know anything about the how things are built? Did that really cut down the cost that much?
It should technically add to it, yes, because you're trying to make one solid panel as opposed to 2 separate ones, yes? Or am I wrong?
I would imagine having one screen would be, it's like the 2DS opposed to the 3DS, because the 2DS is just one screen.
Yeah, Yeah, for me,
That's
the
very
idea
true.
of two screens is what allows you to have depth of field as you're putting two slightly different images into either eye. Whereas,
Yeah, but isn't it the Oculus? The Oculus is more so like it's more of a curved. Like, don't they essentially just put almost like how the Google Cardboard thing works, where it's just a lens?
well, it's
and
two lenses on the Oculus.
Yeah, the Oculus has two screens, so one for each eye.
One for each lens, right?
And I think like the VR is going to be like the Google Cardboard, where you could just like use your phone and pop it in, so it's one screen, but it splits it into two images for your eyes because of the.
Now I want someone to buy the PlayStation VR and cover it like it looks like a Google Cardboard, and be like, check it out, man.
Well, Pappy, if you would like to buy me a PlayStation VR.
I think it would be easier for
I'm
me
sure
to
he'll
spend
get right on that.
$1,000 on the PlayStation and the VR.
Like, and that's the thing you got to kind of realize too, is like when it comes to VR, at least my stance on it, sure, it's an interesting concept, but I'm not interested in getting into it anytime soon, because like it's just not at a price point that makes sense. I still feel like there's a lot. They still have a long way to go before I'm like genuinely interested.
I still also like the idea that one of our previous guests brought up, that VR might bring back arcades because of the cost.
Yeah. Which
Sure.
I thought was a cool idea. Very possible.
But I mean, if they do pop up, they're going to be few and far between.
Yeah, maybe even just big cities, but that's still kind of cool. I mean, I would totally go to like a VR bar.
Yeah.
know?
I would.
VR
Fuck it, I would do it.
Yeah.
I think
And
that
none of us really drink.
I think that could be a cool business concept, honestly.
I mean, come on, Vegas. You have oxygen bars and IV bars. Why not have a VR bar?
I mean, look at MagFest. How popular were the VR booths at MagFest?
Sure, and I think that lends itself very well, but I think it's also a product of the environment. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
you have guaranteed.
Like everybody there is already like, I want to play games. Here's a game that's in front of me and it's VR. And obviously with where VR is still being a very new thing, everybody's going to want to try it because they want to form their own opinion. So I can't imagine why it wouldn't be popular at a place like that. But if you're going to have a standalone business where people are going to have to like travel to it and go in and be inconvenienced to get there, I don't know if the appeal is so great that you need to warrant the business.
That's why you sell pizza.
Which is only why it would only work in cities to start.
Right.
Because then you'd have to worry about wait times and all of that stuff. I mean, it would be a lot to figure out.
And back
And
alleys.
it might only work in a small.
Hey, buddy, you want to
you know.
see this VR? I got a Vive in my pocket. You want to check it out?
Well, now we know what Joe's doing.
But we were also talking about the PSVR there's a bundle going on sale on Tuesday for pre-orders, because the $399 is just the headset and the cables, where the bundle going on pre-order on Tuesday is the headset, the cables, obviously, a PlayStation camera, which is required to use it, and it's not included normally, 2 of the PlayStation Move controllers, and then a game of like tech demo shit or whatever it is.
I kind of am just looking forward to the first Twitch gamers who will be wearing those things.
See now, and that's the thing. When it comes to like entertainment by like watching someone else play it, I actually get nothing out of watching someone play a VR game. I get absolutely nothing out of it.
I wouldn't want to watch the game they're playing. I would just want to watch them flailing around like an idiot.
That's really the only appeal to it.
I saw a GIF of someone playing some kind of game with a hole in the ground, and they just smacked their head off the ground.
Yeah, that was funny.
Like, I would watch that shit. I think that's funny.
I suppose. I mean, like, I don't know. Which, it would be hard for someone to give commentary on an experience when literally all they're doing is just, like, screaming and freaking out.
I would watch Shiz play VR.
Yeah. Well, Kris, you say that, but how popular are horror streams when people are freaking the fuck out?
Yeah.
Holy fuck, man! I'm fucking tripping balls playing this, man. You should.
Oh, and don't get me wrong. I'm sure that's actually where it's going to take off the most.
Yeah, that was actually why I took up the challenge to play through all of Layers of Fear. In that, I guaranteed the viewers that I was not going to act like a scaredy cat. You know, I don't want to say a little bitch because some people are just genuinely frightened. That I made jokes and I kept stone faced for the entire game. Even when something got to me, I was kind of like, hey, that was a good one, and then moved on.
Hey, Pappy.
I kind of wanted to be that anti.
Hey, Pappy.
And I think, yeah.
You're still a bitch.
Yeah, but with Twitch, most people, it's that spectacle. Hey, watch this person freak the fuck out. And yeah, you're right. We'll definitely get that with some horror games on the Oculus and on the VR.
I still think that $4.99 for that bundle, people losing their minds that they weren't very clear about the cost. I don't know. I think $4.99 compared to the other options out there isn't too bad, but it's still nothing that I'm ever really gonna pick up because of the price. I can't afford that shit.
I'm not 100% as sold on it as far as price point goes. Like, it's just not right now is not the time. You know what I mean? It's hard enough for people to justify warranting the purchase of the system, and that's more than the price of the system.
Yeah.
And not to mention the fact that you need to have the camera, and the camera normally isn't bundled with the system.
Yeah, that's an extra $50-$60 depending on where you pick it up, when you pick it up.
What this is, I see this like early cell phones or even like Laserdisc. It really depends on if enough people pick it up to make it cheaper to manufacture, to improve and all of that, and becomes the next thing. It could be the next cell phone where in 5 years they're $150 and anyone can get them, or it could be the next Laserdisc where people are just like, it's not worth the investment.
Didn't Rift pre-orders go on sale in Europe and sell out in like 10 minutes?
Yeah, but Laserdiscs were hugely popular as well. But once the early once the people who could afford them got them, no one else pressed for more.
Right. Because the Laserdisc, I'm not gonna lie, I actually know someone that has a bunch of Laserdisc stuff, and I've heard the audio quality on it, and it's ridiculously good.
Yeah, it is. It's better than DVD, but it's just the size and the cost.
Right. The problem is there's too much convenience for something that's already cheap to manufacture.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And when it comes to video games, I don't think the gameplay elements and the difference of the VR is going to be enough for just an average consumer to be like, I need this with my full gaming experience because I feel like I'm not going to enjoy it.
See, I don't think it's enough for a lot of hardcore gamers to do it because I am a hardcore gamer, and I just don't think that $500 entry price is enough. I don't know.
You essentially have to buy a second system.
I'll probably treat it like the PS3, and I didn't get a PS3 until they did some kind of massive sale at Walmart where it was like, buy a PS3 and get 10 free Blu-ray movies, and then you could mail in for another 5 free Blu-ray movies. So I'm like, fuck it, 15 movies for buying a Blu-ray player? I'll dive in.
I couldn't find 15 movies right now.
Yeah, right.
So just I'll wait until it's like the Blu-ray, or no, not the Blu-ray, the VR bundle where you get 10 free games, then you can mail in for like another screen. Or you mail in for a Vita.
I'm telling you, man, you're going to miss out when curling becomes the next big VR thing.
VR curling. Speaking
VR
of the
curling.
prices of stuff, the Xbox One is going to be getting a temporary price drop to $299.
Another temporary one?
Yep. They are going to be doing the spring sale, I believe, starting next week. And the system, the 500 gig systems, are going to drop to $299. Basically, $50 off all consoles, including the Division bundle, including the Quantum Break bundle. Every system is going to have a $50 price drop.
When the hell does Quantum Break come out?
April something.
Oh, fuck. I mean, I pre-ordered it, but...
the 5th.
Okay. Ah, shit.
Yeah,
in the middle of crunch time.
I need to find a way to pre-order that digitally.
Well, I did,
Digitally.
and but now I realize that's the middle of crunch time because busy.
Bitch.
Yeah, well, that just means
I'm still gonna be too busy playing the Division.
Good. Hey, that's good. We were talking last night about how the Division seems to be what Battlefield wasn't.
Battlefront.
Well, the Division to me is basically kind of like a third person, much heavier, and I'll talk about that a little bit. Are we going to talk about the Division at all? Or?
Yeah, we could talk about it because I've been playing it a lot too. Pappy could just sit in the corner and cry.
You just talk about it now.
The Division.
I did want to get Chris's thoughts on the backward compatible games that were just announced before we get into game talk.
We'll talk about the Division, then do the backwards compatible. Who gives a shit?
Well, because once we start talking about games, we'll just go into our reviews.
Okay, well, let's talk about the backwards compatible.
Hey, Kris, Pac-Man, Alan Wake, and Castlevania Symphony of the Night are all backward compatible now. Oh, and if you're a preview member, Halo Wars is too. So, okay, we'll move on. Do you have thoughts on those 4 titles?
I never played Symphony of the Night, so that's a good excuse for me to get it.
Indeed. So I heard you're playing the Division.
There you go. So the Division.
I've watched people play it, so I'll just sit back here and go, okay.
With my experience of the Division so far, I feel like it's pretty much like an MMO third-person Borderlands. That's
like successfully turned me off from ever buying it.
I don't know if I would call it Borderlands because it's, I don't know.
I'm talking more along the lines of you have your skill trees, like your perk systems and all that kind of stuff. The stats on your gear and the gearing of your character heavily matters. You're doing a lot of math. Almost math? Like Diablo-esque kind of like, gearing.
Pappy's doing
so
math.
That's why I'm on legal meth. So that's why right there it appeals to you because of the Diablo equipment.
Right,
style.
and that's why I wanted to make the appeal to Borderlands, because while it is, gear, like you have to pay attention to the stats of the gear, it's not as in depth as Diablo. It's probably more along the lines of how it was in Borderlands, but it matters more.
Okay,
if that makes sense. Like there's not as many stats that you have to take like keep an eye on. But they greatly impact things.
Yeah.
So and gearing's like really interesting. The weapons are very different. Like, you can modify them heavily. I don't know. The storyline is actually really, really good. I've been digging it so far.
Yeah, I like the added story that you could find through cell phone recordings and the echoes and all that other stuff. So there's a lot more story if you want to go out of your way and find it. But I think they give you enough as you're playing it that if you want that extra bit.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things where think of it as all the extra lore that you end up getting in a game like Diablo. Like if you want to know about shit, you can. If you don't want to, just keep moving. But this game actually it rewards exploration, which a lot of games that are put into this kind of situation don't really do well for me. But this one, when you have random encounters, I feel like it actually. It's almost like a traditional RPG in third person shooter disguise.
I think that's what I said on the show last night is that this isn't a shooter with RPG elements, it's an RPG with shooter elements.
Yeah. I heavily feel more like I'm almost playing a traditional RPG, about as close as I can get to a traditional RPG without me not being interested.
Yeah, because that's something else I was saying last night, because I think David was asking me about it, and I said, unlike a shooter, if you get a headshot, that doesn't mean it's an automatic kill. You could hit a guy 40 times in the head, and it just does critical damage. You're not going to kill the guy automatically. That's why it is more RPG than shooter.
Right. But I will say, thing that I like about it is you get a little bit of, if you are skillful at the game, then you can have a slight advantage because you're skilled at it, which I like games that you can get rewarded for being better at.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's not like headshots are pointless in the game because they do critical damage.
Oh, they do. My favorite gun in the game, or at least style of gun in the game, are the marksman rifles. Like, I'm constantly just picking people off. That's all I do. and then my secondary will always be like a submachine gun or an assault rifle, because the submachine gun I'll use for like close quarters, like stupid amounts of damage. But the assault rifles you can modify to hell and back, so I like having something like that and just really fucking with it.
Yeah.
Skill wise, I like that it's very easy to swap your skills out, because every once in a while I'll be online, but I'll be playing by myself, so I have a certain skill set that I'm using for when I'm playing solo, and then one of my friends will hop on and just be like, "Hey, we should play together." And as they're hopping into my game, I'm just going into my skills and I'm like, oh, okay, I could do this and I could do this. So I'm swapping stuff out relatively quickly, but it's stuff that makes sense for the composition of the group, as opposed to, you're using that character that does that type of damage, and we need this type of character that does this type of thing because that's the only thing that works in this type of group. Like, it doesn't work like that. It's pretty much everybody's just a blanketed, like, okay, what role do you want to take for this mission? All right, what role do you want to take for this mission? And then gear yourself accordingly.
Yeah, you could definitely fall into the typical MMO roles of like tank, healer, support.
Right. And the thing that I like about it is you can kind of have your own modified version of it, because, it doesn't limit you to, you want to use a heal and a turret? Well, you can do that. Oh, you want to be like super tanky, like I'm going to fortify this barrier for people to stand behind, but you also want to be able to do like the rolling homing mine. You could do that too. Like,
do you have need for incompetent jackass on your team?
I am on PC.
Okay. I was more making a joke.
You could play with me, Pappy. I'll take your incompetence and combine it with my incompetence.
We'll be the inconsonant incompetence.
Yay!
But the other thing that I like about this game too, though, is even if you don't know what you're doing, because I've had a couple people that have grouped up with me and they're just like, I've just been running around and just shooting people when I see them. Once I explained some of the actual like gameplay mechanics and where, like, how you want to do your questing and leveling yourself up, right? They were just like, oh, okay, this actually makes a lot more sense. It's very well thought out. I end up, like, I'm liking it a lot more than I thought I would. It kind of took me by surprise, to be perfectly honest with you. I knew I wanted to play it, but I didn't think I was gonna like get obsessed over it.
I do hear a lot of people.
When I'm home, I'm just like, I have to play this fucking game. Like,
yeah, I do hear a lot of people complaining about, there's not enough depth to the end game, and I'm like, dude, it's not even out a week.
It just fucking started.
How are you seriously? Like, they've already ran through the entire campaign, all the side quests, their max level in the dark zone. It's like, get some fucking air.
Mm-hmm.
Like, calm down, killer.
There are other games to play. Like,
I mean, I can understand the concern for end game content, and a lot of people are like, the biggest complaints with the dark zone is that there's not enough incentive to go rogue. So everyone, for the most part, is just playing nice, or they're being dicks.
That's actually good.
Well, no, the dark zone, you're supposed to.
It's the PvP stuff.
Yeah, like you're supposed to want to go rogue. You're supposed to be rewarded if you go rogue and you can successfully, hold everyone off, get to an extraction, get the equipment out of there. take care of everything, escape. You're supposed to be rewarded for that. But the way it stands now is if you go rogue, it just seems like everybody's against you, and then you die, and then you lose levels, and you lose money. And
so they make it a little too hard to go rogue.
Yeah, they don't give enough of an incentive to do it.
So maybe just where a certain radius people were announced about you going rogue, not like everybody.
I don't know, because I haven't really done much of the Dark Zone. It is funny to see videos online where someone is attacking NPCs in the Dark Zone, and some other player will just go
run in front of them.
Yeah, run into their line of fire to try and draw them into being a rogue.
Oh, okay. So that's the dickish you're talking about.
Yeah, the assholery that goes on.
Okay.
But yeah,
welcome to the internet.
I'm really digging the Division, and I hope I could play with some people since Kris went PC for it.
Well, the only reason why I have it on PC is because it was gifted to me graciously.
Steam notification. Croth is now playing Tom Clancy's The Division.
I'm launching it right now, actually. I was graciously gifted it by Kay, Tim's girlfriend, so that we can all play it together.
Aww.
So it was very, very nice of her.
So apparently some news just came out about the upcoming Telltale Batman game.
I didn't even know that there was going to be a Telltale Batman game.
Wow, I knew that. That's like all I knew. But,
yeah,
okay.
It's supposed to premiere this summer. There's some details about the story and stuff like that. The actions will help shape Gotham that Batman deals with, or Bruce deals with during the day, and the criminals Batman faces at night. This is the interesting thing that caught my attention. Like some other Telltale series, the game will be landing an M rating, and the cinematic approach will feel more akin to an R-rated film.
Good.
So
Bruce Wayne finally
that's pretty interesting.
So Bruce Wayne finally gets to bang secretary?
Fuck bitches.
That may happen.
That could be interesting, because they kind of already teased the M rating a bit with Arkham Knight. I don't like, it is M rated, but it doesn't really feel very M rated. Like it's a very, very light M rating, if that, which kind of makes me think that we need to have something in between teen and M. Like, they should make mature what AO is and have mature be in between, and then actually use the adults only rating. But
well, the idea for AO was
shit.
that, but then unfortunately the people, the powers that be right now are all stick up the ass, and they think that AO is
stigma.
Yeah, AO is a death sentence for a game until we get a good game that people want to play, which it'll happen eventually, simply because our generation is slowly coming to power.
I don't think it will happen because the console makers do not permit AO games.
No, what I'm saying, Gen X and Gen Y, as we become older and more in charge, we're going to knock out some of that old thinking. We're going to knock them out of their posts. You know.
Why does Potato have to turn her toy on all the time?
I don't know.
During the show.
Burns calories.
God damn it, Potato.
He's really your only non-fat cat left, so.
Coltrane's not too fat.
Coltrane's like...
Potato is getting fat.
Well, then let her play.
It's just funking against... I'm sure you guys can hear it.
Yeah, in the background. Like it's
Thunk. So, we should probably talk about some reviews, huh?
Yeah.
Since
Kris is tuned out.
Yeah, Kris's zone is in his own little world now. Let us start off with 101 Ways to Die.
I actually didn't realize that I put my Switch on mute on my microphone because I was eating before. I apologize.
You're champion.
But you can continue.
You're champion. 101 Ways to Die, developed and published by Four Door Lemon. It released March 18th. I forgot to get a price on that one. I think it's $10 or $15, somewhere in there. Pappy, look it up. 101 Ways to Die. It is basically an M-rated Lemmings murder simulator. if that makes sense. The whole thing, it's kind of like the Incredible Machine, where you can devise these traps and pitfalls, and there are clones that walk from a spawn point to an exit, and you have to kill them all in the time it takes them to reach the exit. Now, sometimes they can get used to the traps that you set. Like if you put an oil slick on the ground and someone slides and dies, like they slide into spikes and die, someone else will jump over it. They'll learn to avoid the traps. So you have to make sure that you could set up enough unique traps on the way to kill them all. And there's, I think 5 different worlds in there. I think 12 stages on most of them. So there is a big chunk of stuff to play. There's normal challenges that you could that let you beat this stage and move on. And then there are more like master challenges to help you get the 3 stars on each level. There are obviously 101 unique ways to kill people in the game, which you want to discover to help you, learn all the fun tricks to do. The game is just ridiculously fun, and just watching your traps spring to life and watching these clones get splattered or impaled or rolled over by boulders or shot with a cannon. It's just hilarious to watch. This is an easy buy it in my eyes. It's worth checking out, grabbing, and just murdering, because it's a good stress reliever.
It's $14.99 on Steam and currently $12.99 on Xbox.
Nice. So there you go. I'm guessing that's a gold price discount.
I closed the window already. Sure.
Yeah. So any questions about that? Any conversation you guys would like to have about that?
Not really. I mean, that's a pretty straightforward, kill the lemmings.
Yeah.
Sounds entertaining.
Next one is Spareware, developed and published by Rusto Games, released March 18th again for $9.99 this one. It is a top-down shooter, kind of in the vein of Crimson Land, which is why I wanted Kris to play it, and he's been busy as hell.
I know, I'm sorry.
You should be out here playing this, and you could do live commentary or something. It is level-based. It's not kind of like Crimson Land where it's just challenges. You go into the level, you have to make it to the exit of each level, and of course survive along the way. Some levels may have unique, like some of them might have gates that you need to open up to get through. Some of them might have special equipment there that you can only get in that stage. The mechanic with this one is that you have 5 different body parts. You have your left arm and your right arm, which are your weapons. You have a head, a body, and legs, treads, whatever, depending on what you pick. And each item has its own cost in energy cells to equip it. Depending on the difficulty, you could start with more or less cells at the beginning of the game. And the whole idea is to either find more energy cells as you go through each level, or to not get hit enough that anything breaks. If one of your guns gets destroyed, by destroying some of the obstacles in the level, like there's cars planted everywhere, blowing them up could drop like a healing item, or it can drop an energy cell, or it can drop new weapons. So if you lose a weapon, you can pick one up. And the good thing is, depending on the cost of the items, whenever you exit the level, whatever the cost of the items you have equipped is, you get reimbursed those cells. So if you start a stage with 2 weapons that only cost 2 cells each, and you exit the level with 2 weapons that cost 6 cells each, that's profit. So it requires planning.
Oh shit, what about that?
It's a lot of fun. There are a bunch of stages that you can go through. You don't necessarily have to go through all of them. The way that the map is laid out, you can, if you want, you can just like dart through to the core, blow up the core, and end the game. There is 4-player co-op. I believe it's local only, which is a bummer. But again, it's only a $10 game, so I don't usually expect online in most indies. There are unlockables that you gain, like some of the extra heads or bodies or weapons in the game. You can unlock them during the game in the certain levels that have that item in there. Or if you get certain achievements, it unlocks it permanently. And then
that's cool that at least does some unlocks if you get the achievement.
Yeah. The game is hard. It will fuck you up.
Sounds like it.
It will fuck you up badly. One of the enemies, like a couple of stages in, you'll start to see enemies that have shields. And that wouldn't be too bad if you just had to like blow up the shield a lot to kill them. But their shields can reflect your attacks. So you have to either attack at a good angle or use a weapon that doesn't like splash back as easily, or you'll end up killing yourself more than the enemies kill you, which I ran into a lot. Once you run out of cells in the game, it's game over, back to the main menu, start over from scratch.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like games that do that.
And if you are an achievement fan, you are going to hate this game.
Aren't they all like goofy numbers?
They're all like 8, 16, 32. So personally,
you're a robot, so it's in hexadecimal or not?
Something like that. But whatever. I love that. I love that it's a giant fuck you to achievement hunters. I
like that.
I'm happy when they do stuff like that because I'm not an achievement whore in that sense. Like I'll earn achievements, but I don't cry if my achievement score ends in a 7. So honestly, I'm going to give it a try. It's a lot of fun. Kind of rough around some of the edges. The difficulty could be a turnoff for a lot of people. I would watch a stream, watch someone. If you've played Crimson Land and you enjoyed that, this is definitely worth checking out. So, Kris, you might want to come out here and try it and see if you want to pick it up.
Yeah, I watched you play it the other day.
The soundtrack is awesome. It's just all
it was.
Heavy,
it was pretty good.
Heavy rock stuff. It's apparently some kind of music library online they got the music from, so I would probably need to have to sign up for a site or something to get it. So unfortunately, we won't play it on this show, but it's awesome in the game. So again, try it, check it out. Really good stuff. And we'll move on. So Pappy, you covered Sheltered, developed by Unicube, published by Team17. It was available in Xbox Game Preview for a couple of months now, but it finally had its full release March 15th for $15 on Xbox One and PS4. So tell us about it.
Well, the first thing I'm going to say is this was originally a Steam game, and you can tell. The controls are not super great on the console. And here's a little bit of why here I'll knock into. First of all, you are sheltered. You are a family of 4, mother, father, 2 kids. It's the post-apocalypse, and you're trying to survive. So you've got an underground shelter, and you've got to go foraging, scavenging. You'll encounter people. Some people are trustworthy. And they can join you.
Quick question for you, because I know you had to have fun with this. What did you name your family?
I was going to get into that.
Okay.
It's the all right. So my family was their last name is the asterisk whale noise asterisk family.
What?
Yeah, it's pronounced. So.
Okay.
Mr. and Mrs.
So the father is Bongo. The mother is. I named his lovely wife Squee, and then their daughter, because you kind of pick what they are their stats. So like with the father, I made him athletic, so he's got a higher dexterity but a lower intelligence. The mother, I made her very book smart. Then their daughter, I made I think I made her like a tattletale or something like that, so higher intelligence. And then the son I named useless, and I made him the schoolyard bully. So if you look at the statistics, he actually has the highest strength in the family. He's actually stronger than Dad is now. Here's where the problem
Isn't there
came
a
in.
Pet too?
Yeah, I got a cat, and I named it Dinner.
What?
just in case. Because each pet does stuff. Like, you can get a horse, and you can actually ride it and explore, more quickly, but you have to feed it twice a day. The cat you only have to feed once every 2 days.
I'm legitimately surprised you didn't get a horse and name it Amazing.
No, because you had to feed the horse twice a day, and I didn't know what kind of constraints I was going to be working with the survival, and it's harsh. All right,
I would have gotten the horse and gotten a butt stallion.
But this is a micromanagement game, and that's where the problem comes in. It's like The Sims, only worse. Every single one of your characters has tiredness. They need a shower. They need to use a bathroom. They need a drink. They need food. They need sleep. You only have enough supplies to make a sleeping bag. When you let someone sleep, it takes like 5 minutes real time.
Oh, geez.
And meanwhile, everyone else is getting tired and cranky. And if you let anything go too low, if you're not actively telling them to do something, they'll just go fucking curl up in a corner and huddle back and forth. So, okay, well, that means I just need more people. So if people come, they find your shelter and they're like, hey, can I join? And if they stick around for 4 days, they become loyal, and you can send them out to forage as well. But my problem was the sheer level of micromanagement. You have to take care of everyone's problems while also trying to get one of those assholes healthy enough to go do something. And what was amazing, because I took small meals for Useless, the son, he was the least bitchy. So I just kept sending him out to find stuff. But I couldn't find any fucking nylon to make a second sleeping bag. So everyone's like, I'm tired. So I had a rotating shift of people going to bed to sleep. And then, okay, but now you also have to forage enough to build weapons because things are going to get more dangerous. You have to hunt stuff because you only have limited food, and you really can't find food for shit. So there's an elk running up and down the top of my shelter, but I can't kill the fucker because I can't make a weapon because I don't have the stuff. So it's one of those, if you are into the micromanagement and it's a harsh survival game. People will fucking die. You will murder your family within 2 hours easily, or they'll just snap and become like comatose, unresponsive.
It sounds fun if you're into. Oh my god! I just noticed that my microphone is picking up the cat toy hitting.
Yeah, well, yep. What I honestly
I'm going to move it
is,
quick. I'll be back.
All right, yeah, you can go say that. Do that. It's not a bad game at all. Like I said, I had fun with it. But I will say, if this is your kind of game and you can get it on Steam, do that. It is so much easier to use with a mouse. And they weren't able to fix the design when they ported it to consoles. Like, when you go into the menu, I mean, it is just a huge fucking menu. And you down, right, down to get to what you want. Whereas if you had your mouse, point, click, done. Yeah. Same thing with the people. You have to write RB and LB to pick the right person, whereas if you had a mouse, click, go do that, click, go do that, instead of shuffling through. So I will say it's again, if it's your genre, it's a buy it. If it's not your genre, it's a definite try it. Like I said, I had fun with it, even though I knew everyone was going to die. Everybody was fucked. But it was one of those games where you're trying to face a challenge. Can I get 50? Can I make it? Can I get to where I'm actually got a weapon? You can challenge yourself, and it's a fun game. But if you can get it on Steam, get it on Steam. It's going to be a lot easier for you. So that's all I got on.
So another try it. Next game that we can discuss is called Fire, Ungh's Quest. It is developed and published by Daedalic Entertainment. It released March 4th on Windows 10 Store on the PC for $9.99. It is as old school of a point-and-click adventure as it gets because it's not really any controller support. It is literal point and click. It is a puzzle game. You need to figure out how to solve each of the 10 different scenarios in the game from when you enter, figure out what you need to do, how you need to do it, what you need to do along the way. Each stage also has 3 hidden coins that you have to collect to unlock everything in the game. The visuals look like all hand-drawn, goofy, cartoony stuff, and I love it because some of the animations in the game, or not the animations, but like just the character models in the game, like the one part the first time he collects the one magical firefly in the game, he basically trips balls. And it is hilarious. Everything is rainbow colored and wavy, and it's just ridiculous to watch. The one part he like gets hit with a bone, so he just kind of like stares off into space, half drooling, and it's just funny to watch. If you're someone who grew up on old school PC point and click games and you want a humorous twist to it, definite try it. $10, not a bad price. It's just, if I know a lot of people have been avoiding Windows 10, so that's why I don't want to give it an outright buy it. I don't know if it's available on other stuff. It's not on console. So it's fun though.
I have Windows. I upgraded to Windows 10. I like it.
A lot of people were forcefully upgraded to Windows 10 and they're pissed about it. But I like Windows 10.
I like that my other laptop can't handle Windows 10.
Yeah. The achievements, I have to mention the achievements in the game, because none of the achievements in this game are in any form of English whatsoever. And that lends to the charm of the game. Yes, it's completely intentional. As you can tell by the name of the game, Ungh's Quest, it's a caveman. So I'm going to pull up the achievements here just to read off a few of them, because they are ridiculous as soon as the Xbox app loads.
Oh, hey, I already got it up.
Giggity.
Me too.
Ungh Boga 1.
Yeah, there's Ungh Boga Buzz. Buzz was like getting hit by lightning. Blunga 5, which is for picking up the coins. Sniarb, Ungh Boga 2. There's all different Blungas. Let's see.
IQ
Bum
62.
Bum. Yeah, 1978. Blub, Para, Coca. It's just ridiculous. Danka Langa 11.
I like the subtext for bzz. It's ha 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 agu aga raguma boga 3.
Yeah, even the description for the achievements, like Danka Laga 11 says Kul Aga 3 Aga Boga 4. Like, what the fuck?
Whoa. What?
Exactly, because it's all caveman speak. It's fantastic.
Yeah, and what's great is now you have no idea how to get that achievement.
For achievement hunters, it is a fairly easy completion. So if you're desperate for 1,000 gamer score and you have $10 burning a hole in your pocket, buy the game. For everyone else, if you're into point and click adventure games, just keep in mind that like there's no hint system in the game that I found. So you're gonna have to either figure this shit out on your own or use a guide. Which if you're a pussy, you'll use a guide and get 1,000 gamer score right away.
If you're a pussy.
Yeah, you stank ass pussies. But yeah, the game's a lot of fun, so check it out. Give it a try.
No.
Okay.
You can't make me.
Next game is called Tetrobot and Company. It is developed by Swing Submarine, published by Neko Entertainment, who we've covered a lot on the show recently, and I'm starting to really like these guys at Neko. It released March 16th for only $7.99. This is kind of like you mentioned with Sheltered. You can tell it was a PC game first. This is a level-based puzzle game where you have to figure out how to, I guess, repair all these different robots. So each robot that you have to repair is kind of its own style on the puzzle twist, where it plops you in an area and you have to figure out how to get to the exit pipe to move on to the next area, and so on and so forth. There are 3 collectibles in each level. Each world has 5 different stages and then a 6th bonus stage. I believe there's, I want to say 10 different robots to fix in all, if I'm remembering properly. It is all point and click style controls. So you would move the cursor with your analog stick to where you want your flying robot to move, and you move him there. You hit the button and he moves there. You're not controlling the robot. You're just pointing where it needs to go, and then the game moves it, which can be a hindrance sometimes, where if you have to flip a switch and then go to a certain area, if you don't manually move him over, up, and around the switch, sometimes he'll trip the switch again. which thankfully there's no way to die in the game. Like if you run into a laser beam or something, it'll just stun you. Or if something...
So you're more just putting yourself back a second, got to go and do it again.
Yeah, or if anything, like if you have majorly screwed up where you can still solve all the puzzles, basically no problem. It's getting all the collectibles in each level that is going to require a lot of thought in some of the later stages, because the difficulty curve on this ramps like a son of a bitch. Like the first world is fairly easy. The second one starts getting a little harder. Like the third and the fourth were like, I was hurting my brain trying to figure some of this shit out. If you make any mistakes, you hit the X button to jump back one step that you've done. And you can jump back basically as far as you need to. So like
That's good.
I was near the end and I realized that I needed the one piece that I forgot near the beginning. So I just mashed the X button to go half the stage back, which was fun.
Yeah.
Hey, Piddles. I have a Piddles for once, not a potato. But
That's strange.
for $8, this is an easy buy. Pappy, you in particular need to buy this game. If you loved that, what was it? Cubot? Was that?
Yeah.
If you love, you're going to fucking love this game. This game is fantastic. There is an issue that I need to bring up in that I did lose save progress and I don't know how. I played the game once. I got to like the third world in the game. I quit out of the game. I went back to it later and I actually started streaming it and I was back in world like 1-4 and it just lost a chunk of my save. The developers know about it. They're trying to figure out what the problem was. I personally think it might have had something to do with quitting out of the game like during a stage and not backing back out to the main menu of the game before quitting. It wasn't that hard to get back where I was because I already figured out what I needed to do. So it was fairly painless getting back to where I was. A little bit time consuming depending on some of the puzzles, which can get fairly tricky. A lot of the puzzles revolve around different blocks that you pick up and you have to make them form certain, designs or structures, and depending on what kind of blocks there are, some of them can react differently. Like some of them could block out lasers. All the stones pretty much stick to each other, which is another thing that you're going to have to work with. The third world, the walls were sticky, so you had to work around that.
Yeah, sorry about that.
It really is a fun, unique game that's worth checking out. I don't know how long it'll take for them to figure out that save issue, but again, because I already figured out the puzzles, getting back to where I was more just a nuisance than anything else. But just keep in mind that something possibly could happen with your save, that you might lose some progress, but they are looking into it. So the fact that it already came out and they actively emailed me asking for my experience with the glitch, the fact that they're going to those lengths to figure it out has confidence inspired within me. So again, for only $8, this is an absolute buy.
Cool.
Yeah, especially you, Pappy.
Well, remember, part of the reason I liked the whole Cubot was because I got to just talk shit to Shiz by, getting through over half the game without using a help.
I don't know if Shiz is going to get this or not, but it's fucking fun. So, yeah, definitely.
I mean, I'm not as good with puzzles as you are, but I do like the mind game stuff, so. Yeah.
I really think this one's going to be up your alley. I really do. If you don't like it, I'd say I'd give you $8 back, but I don't like you enough.
Yeah, no, you don't have $8.
I'll send you batteries or something. I don't know.
Batteries.
Put them in a sock and hit you with them next time I see you.
Next game to discuss quickly is the Solus Project, developed by Teotl Games, Teotl. Teotl. Published by Grip Games. I could figure that one out. Released back on February 26th. It is currently an Xbox One game preview for $15. It is another survival style game where you are on a ship. Humanity has pretty much died off, and you are part of a bunch of different spaceships that have gone out to try to find a new planet to inhabit, your spaceship ends up getting destroyed and you land on a foreign planet, and it is all about exploration and survival. First-person game. I couldn't play it too much because it was starting to make me motion sick. I have dabbed back into it here and there. It is a first-person survival game. It is getting resources, exploring the surroundings. They recently added like a massive chunk to the game, which is why it's at $15 right now. It was originally at $13.49, something like that. And the chunk that they added basically doubled the game.
Nice.
The game is gorgeous. Like it is absolutely gorgeous for being an indie, and like the loading screen of like the moons rotating the planet, it's just looks phenomenal. I can't really judge too much about it because I haven't gotten as far into it as I would like because of the motion sickness thing. But from what I'm seeing so far, it's definitely something that you would want to try out if you're into survival style games like, was it The Long Dark or...
Wow. Yeah.
It's just a lot of exploration and surviving. So even if you like something like Ark, where it's exploring an area and living, surviving, managing resources. Resource management seems to be a pretty popular genre. So this is another one to check out. If you're not digging the pixelated art style of Sheltered, check out the Solus Project. So there's another try it.
Yeah, trying things.
Yay. See, we like telling people to try stuff.
Right.
We've given like 2 deny it so far. Like
I don't like giving deny it's because deny it is...
we save that for if it's broken.
Yeah, if a game is irredeemably bad. But you know, I don't know.
Like Tony Hawk's 4 or whatever. You know?
Yeah. Guitar Hero Live, deny it.
Deny it.
New Call of Duty, deny it.
Bias doesn't mean broken, all right?
Yeah. Final game to discuss. This is the one we've all been waiting for.
The sea shanty.
Shantae and the Pirate's Curse. Developed and published by WayForward. It hit the Xbox One on March 16th for $19.99. I believe it is still on sale for $14.99. I have played through this game multiple times on multiple platforms, and I am again playing through it on Xbox One, and I fucking love it. So, Pappy, you talk about it because I'm just going to, like, come all over the place talking about it.
I'm at what? What's the Spider Island? What's it called? Spider Sperm Island or whatever?
Something like that.
Yeah, okay, so I never played a single Shantae game ever. And that's a fact. It's a failing. Okay, I understand.
Shantae?
But, yeah, it was fun. Like, I have no idea any of the backstory, any of the previous games or anything. But it drops you in. It's like, hey, here's shit. You used to be cool, and now you're not.
You used to be a genie, but you...
Yeah, like I said, you used to be cool.
Well, I'm trying to give you a little bit of backstory. You gave up your genie powers to become human.
Yeah, just to probably be saving the world or something.
Yeah, shit like that.
But anyhow, you live in a place where the mayor's kind of an idiot, so he sold the rights to the entire town for, what, chocolate candies?
Something like that.
And then you beat up the baddie, and then you got kind of sanctioned for beating up the baddie because the baddie had the deed. And now you find out that this evil pirate is trying to rise from his grave, and your enemy doesn't want it to happen, so you guys team up. And there's the story. And you go from island to island to get certain things needed to stop the big bad from happening. And it's more or less just it's a platformer. You know, you get some abilities. Your primary method of attack is to whip your hair.
You whip your hair back and forth. You whip your hair back and forth.
Yeah, should have seen that coming.
Yeah, you should have.
But it's not a bad game. Like, I had a lot of fun with it. It's relatively easy, and even as you're doing it, if you've played a platformer, you can see an area and be like, okay, I know I got to come back after I get a new ability, or okay, I know I can get that by going down, left, and up, to get to that thing. It's pretty simplistic in that, and I think that adds a certain amount of replayability because you'll have to get something and then come back to a previous level to get more collectibles and stuff like that.
I will fully admit that there is a shitload of backtracking in some of the points of the game, but
the only thing I didn't care for is some of the you're gonna have to kind of guess, or you're gonna be really annoyed later. Like in one of the first levels, you get to this beast. And you have to get it to drool to create a waterfall to fill up a pool. The way to do it is to get meat stank by
ham stank.
Randomly. Yeah, ham stank. I like saying stank. But the only way to do it is to walk up to a piece of ham and punch it repeatedly until it releases a smell for you to suck up into your lamp. No one's going to just get to that point and be like, I should probably go punch that ham. The only reason I got it... The only reason I got it was because I was doing the whole, what is not interactive in this game, and I walked up to it and punched it, and it moved, and I was like, haha, this is stupid. And I punched it again, and then the smell came out.
You
I was like,
whipped it.
Okay, whatever. I whipped the ham.
I like how you said no one's just going to walk up and whip the ham. So what did you do? You just walked up and whipped the ham. When you see a ham, you're going to whip it. No
normal person is going to put 2 and 2 together. I didn't put 2 and 2 together. I didn't go, I should probably go whip this. I just did it because it was funny.
Exactly, which is what a lot of people will do. And even still, when you get to the big monster that you need to drool, it says he likes ham stank, which again leads to more backtracking. But
no, it leads to a shit ton of backtracking and a lot of Mega Man style dodging of enemies. All right, so don't simplify it. There's the potential that you could get really annoyed at this game with the amount of backtracking you might have
I can see that, but I'm a fan of those style of game.
And that's why we both reviewed it.
Shantae,
I'm sure you're giving it a buy.
Oh, I'm giving it an absolute buy it.
Yeah, and I'm giving it a try it because there's some people out there who will play this game for 30 minutes and be like, it's not for me.
This is an unabashedly old school game. It is
It is with all of its faults as well.
Yes. It was the original Shantae was released on the Game Boy Color. It was one of the final Game Boy Color releases, and it was released by Capcom originally, and it was just an old school platformer, and they have since expanded on it to make it more involved with different areas to go to, backtracking, collectibles, stuff like that. They're actually working on another Shantae game. What's the name of it? Let me look it up quick. Shantae. Half Genie Hero, which that one will be coming to the Xbox One,
Shantae
PlayStation.
and the Half-Blood Prince.
Yeah. Shantae Half Genie Hero is one of the very first games I actually kickstarted. That's how this, funny enough, estimated delivery October 2014. So it's a little behind, but
yeah, a little. See, that would actually annoy the fuck out of me.
See, I'm not annoyed because I know how good the game is going to be, and they've been very upfront with any kind of delays that have been happening. And they started back when the whole kickstarting thing was still fairly new. So I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt just because I know how good WayForward is. And how
that's fine. And again, it's a fun game. I'm not going to deny that. I played like 2 hours straight with the moment I got it downloaded. I was just like, yeah, this is fun. But if you're not a fan of old school games, this is not for you.
I can agree with that, but even still, my recommendation is a 100% buy it. I actually told Shiz about it because I got the game somewhat early. And I've basically just kind of been holding it on to review because we've had so much other stuff coming up. And I figured we would do the review at the launch of the game. And when Shiz got it, like before the game came out, I was like, dude, you need this game. It is amazing. It is amazing. He finally got it and he's like, dude, you were right. That Shantae game it's fucking amazing. Yeah, it's fucking Shantae. It's WayForward. So
it's a really fun Shantae game.
Indeed.
Shanty game.
Yo ho ho and a bottle of something, I don't know. We have 2 contests that we could talk about. We don't have any entries for them yet, but I'm hoping to drum up some attention for it this week. The first one, Spareware, that we just talked about for the Xbox One. We have 2 codes to give away. All you got to do is shoot us an email at the smlpodcast@gmail.com and give us a robot-related story.
A robot-related story.
Yeah. Just something robot-y. You could send us a joke, a story, a tale, if you wish. The other game, and we will be reviewing this one next week, is Joe Deaver's Lone Wolf, the console edition game. This is a game that was based on the old Lone Wolf choose-your-own-adventure novels. So back when games were played with books and paper and shit like that, they released the game in 4 parts on Steam a while back, and it just came out this week on Xbox One and PS4. We have 2 codes for the PS4 version of the game, and just tell us why you want it. That's the easy one. The SML podcast at gmail.com. Tell us why you want Lone Wolf for the PS4, and you might get it, because we got 2 of them to give away.
That's simple.
You guys like giveaways. We got the giveaways.
How the fuck is our review only episode still pushing 90 minutes?
Seriously, what the? Well, we had a repeat a half, 15 minutes.
Doesn't matter, man. Still, we are ridiculous.
15, yeah.
Only a little.
There was a lot of Division talk in there.
Yeah. Speaking of, I just hit level 15.
Nice. So, is there anything else you guys want to talk about?
No, man, I got Chinese food and Daredevil season 2. I'm good to go.
Chris, anything else you want to talk about?
Go get the Division. It's awesome.
I will say that if no one checked out our episode 175, go listen to us talk with David Sterling, Jason Sorensen, and Bob Baffy for 2 hours about absolutely nothing. We accomplished nothing, which is why we had to do this episode. And stay tuned. Next week, we actually have a fairly loaded Thursday show. The timing on this one is going to be fun. We have 2 separate interviews to do next Thursday. One at 8, one at 9. So, yay timing. We're going to interview the developers behind the recently revealed game Beacon, which is a top-down Diablo-ish action-adventure game that is going to be releasing next year sometime. It's been getting a lot of buzz around it, so I'm excited to have them on. And then at 9 o'clock, we are scheduled to talk with the one and only Danimal Cannon. So,
Ooh.
Yay!
He released a new album.
He did,
Yep.
and we're going to play his music next week. But this week on the show, because we just talked about Shantae, we're going to play some music from the always amazing Jake Kaufman, a.k.a. Vert, who has done every Shantae soundtrack since the beginning. And we're going to play some Shantae music.
Yay!
So
I love Shantae music.
So anybody got some final words?
By the Division.
Shantae.
By the Division.
Shantae.
And Shantae.
Shantae.